Okay guys, let's dive into these kits. Each of you received a bag with all of the materials for the activities that I'm about to show you. So I'm going to unpack this and then I'm going to show you each of the materials. And this is a pretty independent kit for students to explore on their own, but I'm going to just show you some ways that you can use the materials that have been given to you. Okay, so every kit comes with all of these things here. And so let's open up the container first. And I'm gonna just empty this out and I'm going to show you each of these things one at a time. And this is kind of a good way to have your student do this as well, introducing a few pieces at a time, not necessarily introducing everything in the kit at the same time, so that there are hours and even weeks of play introducing some new things each time your student plays. So the best thing I think that's included in this kit, the sensory part of the kit, are water beads. So you get one full package of water beads. In this package, there's really two quantities or two times that would fill this container. And these water beads are super cool because they are reusable and they're non-toxic. So once you use at least half the bag for your first round of water beads, if they become dried out, you can just hydrate them again and you can continue playing with them. So this little bag actually has many rounds of water beads in there. So what you need to do is use only about half of the bag. You could even use a little bit less than that. A little goes a long way. They look really tiny, but once they soak into the water, they absorb water, they get much bigger. So about half of the bag, and you want to have them sit in 8 ounces of water for about 6 hours. That's when they get to their ultimate size. You could, use or play with them beforehand, but that's when they're going to be their best. So I've already done that. I've let them sit for 6 hours. And so here are those water beads. And as you can see, it's totally filled up the container. I used a little bit less than half of the bag and it's completely filled the container. And look how pretty these are. These such pretty colors to go with our frog sensory kit. They're really pretty. They're super fun to play with, super relaxing, and honestly, they're fun to play with just by themselves. So this is a super cool part of the kit, a great sensory activity for students of all ages. Honestly, I enjoy playing with them quite a bit. You just want to watch for kids who are playing who are under 3 years old. These are non-toxic, but you don't want them to eat these. So just watching and guiding them while they play. But super fun to put their hands in, even put your toes in, and just kind of play around. And they're such pretty colors, kind of mesmerizing to play with. So super fun. Next in the kit, you're going to receive 4 bath frogs for our frog cycle. And these are super fun, super cute frogs. Great in the sensory bin, and then even after when you're done with the sensory bin, these could go into the bathtub, and great for imaginary play in the frog cycle kit. In addition to that, there's also a nice big lily pad for your frogs to jump on. Really pretty and realistic looking. In addition to that, each kit comes with a large piece of green styrofoam. And so the idea was that students would create their own lily pads to add into the water. So you could trace these out for your student and have them cut them out. They could draw them themselves, but this is just a creative way. Super easy to cut this just with a pair of scissors. I'm going to freehand it. I'll show you how I do a simple lily pad. I'm just going to cut a small circle. And then I'm going to cut out a triangle in the circle, and then there's my lily pad. And so by no means does it need to be perfect. But this is something for your frogs to kind of jump on and for your students to play with. And they can get wet. They're made of foam, so perfect for our sensory bin. In addition to that, you're getting to get a full sheet of sticker numbers. So really you could do anything you wanted with these stickers, but it was my idea that you would take a sticker, for example, number 3, and you would stick it onto your lily pad, and that would then tell you maybe how many frogs should be on that lily pad, or how many water beads should be on your lily pad, or in your bin, you'll also get a handful of flies, frog's favorite meal. So maybe it tells you how many flies to put on your lily pad. Okay, and those are kind of just fun to throw in there. They're very realistic looking, so I hope your kids get a kick out of those. They kind of freak me out a little bit. So you could create a bunch of these lily pads with different numbers on them, practice counting, practice moving them around. Maybe if your student's older, practicing adding or subtracting. So you could make a bunch of different lily pads with different numbers. If your child is more advanced in counting, maybe you could use some of these higher double-digit numbers, okay? You could also use these to decorate the outside of your container. In addition to these stickers, you're going to get a full page of frog cycle stickers. So it shows you not only the different steps that a frog goes through in its life cycle, eggs, tadpoles, froglet, and then frog, but also gives you a few different pictures. So you could also lay out the different steps of the life cycle with different or 4 different lily pads. I thought that would be cute as well. You could also use these to decorate your container as well. In addition to that, you're going to receive a worksheet that's all about the frog cycle, and I thought it would be, for some students it might be nice to copy and they could actually write in, but for students who are a little younger, maybe just taking those stickers and placing them where they belong and then coloring this worksheet in. This is an augmented reality worksheet, so I will also go back to this and show you an additional activity. The app costs $1, but this worksheet comes with your kit, so you can use it just as is, or in a little bit I'll show you how to use that augmented reality, which is super cool. With this sensory kit, you also receive some jumping frogs that look like this. So I thought it would be cool to kind of practice trying maybe to even get them onto your lily pad, or trying to get them just into the container. Ooh, we got it. So these are super fun activity for kids to use. It takes a little practice to get the hang of it, but I thought students would get a kick out of maybe even just like having a race or trying to get them onto the lily pads, but those can go in there as well. All right. Each kit also comes with a life cycle wheel. So again, this just goes over the same life cycle steps, the eggs, tadpole, froglet, and frog that you find on your stickers. But this is just a fun wheel, and it has some facts, and then students can kind of get a visual for what happens to the frog as it grows, starting at the eggs to a tadpole where it grows a tail but doesn't have any legs yet. Then a froglet where it starts to grow legs. And lastly, a grown frog when it looks like our little froggies that we have here. On the back, it also gives us some facts about different types of frogs: the red-eyed tree frog, the wax monkey tree frog, poison dart frogs, and the leopard frog. So that's just a cool little guide for students to have while they're playing and using that imaginary play. Right, and so like I said, using these little flowers or frogs, it would be cool to kind of decorate your container. And when you go to store your container, you'll know it's your frog kit because you'll have those cool stickers on it. Like I said, with these water beads too, after a while, they will dehydrate and they will dry up to that same size as when you first put them in the water. They'll actually dry back up to this size, and you can just rehydrate them with water and get your water beads back for play. So there's so many different uses for this, not just this sensory kit, but they're also just fun by themselves. So lots of ideas to do with those water beads. And like I said, there's 2 different times you could use these. I only use about half of the package for this container. Okay. In your kit, you also will get a net. So you could catch your frogs, you could catch some water beads, maybe catch the flies. This is another way to practice counting and number sense with maybe how many you can catch. Another thing could be to just even try and get these frogs into your nets, but endless opportunities for imaginary play with your net. Also in each kit, you will receive a National Geographic Kids book on frogs. This is a level 1 reading book. So this is the start to read. Books are just right for kids who are beginning to read on their own, but also great to have read to them. This book has a lot of really great colorful pictures, which I love. It does have a table of contents and set up like a novel, so that's nice for students who are beginning to read. But it has some great pictures, uses a lot of sight words, interesting facts and bright colors, and some great information about different types of frogs. So I really like this book for its visuals, but also for its ready readers. So that's a great book to have along with our kit, especially when talking about imaginary play and talking about the frog cycle. That's a great way to introduce this kit to your child. Okay, so now I want to show you, this is kind of an additional feature to the kit because the app does cost $1. Of course, you can color this and use the stickers to fill in the different stages of the frog cycle, starting with the eggs, then to the tadpole, the froglet, and your frog. But you could also get this Quiver app. It's called Quiver Vision, and it's an app. It's found both on Google Play as well as the Apple Store. And this is going to be augmented reality, meaning this picture that your student actually colors will come to life. So I'm going to show you what that looks like now.